might be.
Are you excited?
Uh-huh.
Are you busy trying to get in?
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 5 p.m., April 20th, 2026. It's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Mayor Barnett.
Present.
Mr. Austin.
Present.
Ms. Joe.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. All right, as I said, good evening and welcome everyone here. Is there any announcements or public comments that does not pertain to the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the meeting minutes from the April 6th Board of Works meeting as presented, as well as the approval of claims.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
If there's any old business, we go right into new business. Request approval and execution of professional services agreement with HWC Engineering for the I-65 Interstate Access Document Development Project, HWC Engineering Incorporated. Chris Ham. While Chris is walking up to the microphone, I just want to give a little history about the interchange. This is nothing new. It's something that I have been talking about, I know, for at least 8 years, every single opportunity I get, that at some point, we always hear about we need to be thinking ahead before we go and cause bad traffic situations. Why don't people think ahead? So for 8 years, we've been thinking about this and been bringing it up that someday this is going to be a necessity. And we've had meetings with the MPO, we've had meetings with the state, with NDOT, and as we go on here, Chris, you can talk a little bit about our last NDOT meeting that seemed to be pretty encouraging to try to move forward. But with all that said, where this interchange is at, that we're proposed interchange at someday, and I want to be real careful there because I know that probably, and Chris will talk about this a little bit, best case scenarios, probably 4 or 5 years away, and more than likely it could be 10 years away. But anyway, it is where the county has imposed a TIF, which I'm not against what the county has done in this area that we worked together on because we knew it, and Kevin Walls, county commissioner, sitting in the crowd, we had talked about at some point, I don't know, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago now that the TIF has been put in, that the county and the city would have to partner in doing an interchange and doing some development in that area. So here we are today, and Chris, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board of Works members, for allowing me to be here this evening. As the mayor mentioned, the conversation's been ongoing for several years now, and we've been involved in that conversation. We had initiated an analysis of the interchange about 4 years ago. Got started rolling down the road. Our friends at NDOT seemed less than excited at that time about the possibility of the interchange, so we pivoted that process from an interchange access request procedure to an economic development analysis and justification for the interchange process, which has been completed for that area, which clearly shows tremendous economic impact opportunity as a result of having another access to I-65 in Franklin. We had we shared that information with NDOT, and the mayor had worked to get a conversation set up with representatives from NDOT, the MPO, various agencies involved in the conversation. And that took place last year, and the conversation was very different than it was 4 years ago. There seemed to be genuine interest in the possibility of having another access point onto I-65 in Franklin, and a lot of things have changed over the last 4 years, as I'm sure you can all appreciate, including additional traffic patterns at the Whiteland interchange, which has created some concerns and issues there, which NDOT's aware of, and know there needs to be some improvement to access and traffic flow in the area. not an insignificant amount of growth and job growth and traffic that's been created inside the area either. So I think NDOT looks at this interchange now, based on the feedback we got at that meeting, as this is something that probably needs to happen. I walked out of that conversation feeling as though they were our partners in this process moving forward. Now, there's a tremendous amount of information and work that has to be done to put together a document that can ultimately get submitted to the Federal Highway, who has jurisdiction over this. But NDOT seemed to lay out the process and procedure from their perspective on what they would need to be a partner in that process. And we've heard that message loud and clear, and the scope of work that you see in front of you is specifically designed to deliver the information that NDOT would need to be a partner in this process and submit this to the Federal Highway Administration for their consideration for other access. Again, Federal Highway has exclusive jurisdiction over the access granting to the interstate highway. And it's always a gamble when you go down that road. But with NDOT as your partner, the MPO very strongly, I think, supported this conversation in that room as well. With the MPO and NDOT as your partner, I think there's a real chance that there could be success in this moving forward. The timeline on that, as the mayor had mentioned, these things do take time. You'll notice in the scope that even the work process to get NDOT what they need for this could be, 18 months of back and forth with NDOT and back and forth with the Federal Highway Administration in this process. We hope it's shorter than that. But if we can walk out of this conversation 18 months from now with Federal Highway going, you know what, we've got a deal, we can work this out, then that timeline, Mayor, I think could be sooner than later on the construction, on the beginning of construction on this. But first things first, we have to provide Federal Highway the information they need. Included in that are a variety of different things, which I'm happy to walk through however much detail in the scope that you want to walk through. But survey data, red flag analysis, environmental data that they need in this. A significant amount of traffic modeling needs to be done, both of the existing condition or the no-build scenario, as well as a future condition scenario under a series of different interchange options, which we'd look at as part of this discussion, offering alternatives to Federal Highway and NDOT for their consideration as part of the process that will all ultimately result in what's called an interstate access document. And now you'll hear interstate access document and interstate access request used. They're really kind of the same thing. The request is generally the process by which you develop the document. The document is the thing you hand to NDOT that they hand to the Federal Highway for their consideration and evaluation as to whether the interchange is warranted and what the overall impacts of that interchange would be. They look at it from a traffic perspective and a safety perspective, but NDOT understands the economic impact component to this as well, and the thousands of acres that could potentially be opened up for additional economic development opportunities as a result of having an additional access point. What's likely not going, what probably isn't going to happen is growth isn't going to stop in that area. And as continued growth begins to happen in this area, the no-build scenario gets worse and worse over time as traffic continues to grow, which only increases that case then for what infrastructure improvements may be necessary in the future. So that's why we look at a no-build scenario moving forward, as well as a series of build scenarios moving forward to try to find the solution that works best. Obviously, the most cost-effective way to provide great access that serves all sorts of different opportunities, not just existing traffic flow and existing residents, but future residents and future businesses that are in this area as well, to make sure that the interstate functions effectively and efficiently, which at the end of the day, that's really the primary goal from Federal Highway. So there's a lot of modeling work that'll be done based off of both the MPO's model as well as the model that was created in Franklin's Thoroughfare Plan, which will help inform this. Both of those will help inform this process as we move forward. There's a safety analysis that is part of this conversation that comes in. And again, these pieces will happen in phases. The traffic modeling component is a big piece of this. That work will happen simultaneously with the initial environmental and red flag analysis. And at the end of the day, from a timeline perspective, our hope would be that, 18 months from now, not only are we in the position where we get the green light, but we've also done a significant amount of preliminary engineering work to understand the scenario that can deliver the interchange so that you can hit the ground running and speed that process up as well. So a lot of detailed pieces and parts of this, a lot of conversations that happen between local officials, NDOT, and Federal Highway throughout this conversation. But at the end of the day, the objective is to put a document in front of them that everybody nods their head up and down and says, yeah, this is what we need to do. This is the solution we need for long-term traffic flow and improvements along the I-65 corridor.
Chris, me personally, I don't have any questions. I know Tina and Kenny might. Could you talk about other stuff that you've done in Franklin? For an example, coming off our entryway off of King Street off the interstate, HWC was the engineering firm that did that.
Yeah, so we've been fortunate over the years to have the opportunity to do a lot of work in Franklin on the comprehensive planning document, some previous planning documents, and then one that we're particularly proud of is the work we did for a redevelopment plan for the 44 King Street I-65 interchange, as well as the design work on the road itself for that corridor going back into downtown. You'd be shocked when we're out talking to people around the state of Indiana, and this literally just happened to me last week when we were interviewing for another project. One of the folks on the interview panel was a Franklin grad. And of course, as we talk about the great things we've been able to be part of, we always mention the work in Franklin because it's such a tremendous project that's had such a tremendous impact. He goes, so you guys did that work? And like, yeah, we were fortunate to be part of that team with the city moving forward and the redevelopment commission moving forward. And he goes, I just got to tell you, the transformation that has had is remarkable. The impact that has from people from Franklin College, from people that visit the community is remarkable. And it gives us the reason why people now don't just bypass that interchange, they get off of the interchange, and then they also go further into town to explore downtown Franklin, which is a gem and a jewel of communities around central Indiana. So that work, I'm proud to be able to say we were part of it because it is recognized in virtually every conversation we have around the state of Indiana. They go, man, I think Franklin's really fabulous. So it's just a testament to the hard work and really the vision of this community, showing that you get ahead of things and you deliver fabulous impacts as a result of these projects. This interchange will be no different than that. It's really an effort to get ahead of what is likely going to be which is becoming an increasing problem for traffic flow along I-65 and getting out ahead of it. And I think that's going to reap real rewards and benefits for you. But yes, our hope is it has the same kind of impact that work at the interchange did, because it really is remarkable, that transformation of that corridor and the work at the interchange. And I just saw, as I was driving in, there's another construction sign and stakes out there for another use under construction. In fact, I don't even know what it is, but it's super exciting to be able to see that.
It fits into the plan that you had with your economic development plan. It fits right in with that.
Good.
Hey, so does that mean we get a break on every project you do here in Franklin? Because you get a lot of good compliments and get work off of that?
Do we get rebates or something?
Yeah.
I'd like to think we're giving you a lot of publicity for Franklin.
All right.
So hopefully that means out in people coming and shopping and eating in downtown Franklin.
Okay.
Joanna, can I ask you, we've been, on the 10-year master plan, is the 65 corridor mentioned in the last master plan?
It was mentioned in the last one and is mentioned in the upcoming one that's being drafted, especially with the interchange. It's something that we are planning for.
Thank you. Thought it was, just want to verify.
Kevin, do you have anything you want to add with what we're trying to do here?
Kevin Walls, Johnson County Commissioner. I just want to say, we've partnered and we plan on partnering with you guys on this project also financially at the point right now, because this is what needs right now is financial support. So the county they're working diligently on an MOU right now with us on that area out there. HWC does a great job, and I think the rebate thing is really coming into play.
Both directions.
You got them both in the room. So, no, I'm in total support of this, and I know there is a lot of red tape that has to go through for this, especially within interstate. We've got two of them we have to deal with, 69 and 65. So there is a lot of red tape, so bear with it, but we got to get the boat sailing sometime. So that's all I've got to say, unless you got any questions for me.
I can confirm that I've reached out with, because this is a process, right? We're looking years and years, but it takes a lot of planning to get there. And Tiffany Costley is the county attorney, and she and I have already begun working on an interlocal subject to your all's approval as well. We've worked well together on a lot of projects together, so I don't anticipate this will be any different.
Great. The county is planning to fund a portion of the study as well, right?
Yeah, I want to see what kind of reaction. We'll do a quarter of the funding.
That's a bad reaction.
No, it's a 50-50 split on this first go-around with HWC. Once we get final negotiations done with them and get our rebates in place, we'll be good.
Okay.
There is a resolution on the agenda for the redevelopment commission meeting tomorrow morning to pay the city's half
Okay.
of that. So this would come from the redevelopment commission, not the general fund.
Okay. Thank you. I have a couple questions for HCW, but
Chris, HWC.
HWC,
I'll
sorry.
answer to either one.
Will the study include the work that needs to be done on Earlywood Drive, like up to Graham Road or even 31 as well?
So the traffic modeling analysis will basically look at a geography that will go all the way to 31 on Earlywood, go into and across the interstate to the next kind of county road back there, all the way down to 44, and then all the way up to the Whiteland interchange. So that'll be the area of analysis for this. Also included in there will be a discussion about the road improvements that would need to be made to be able to support the interchange as well. Now, as far as design goes, that's a future
Sure.
section of that conversation. But all of those will be figured into the base model for this, and that will be included in the analysis, and then help to define those future build scenarios that we talked about as to, what does Earlywood need to look like to be able to provide the access between the interchange and US 31? What other improvements might need to be made even at one of the other interchanges to be able to support this? Or is there a scenario under which certain improvements need to be made at one of the existing interchanges and this interchange needs to happen? And how are those coordinated together from an overall traffic flow perspective? And I'll be honest with you, there are guys a lot smarter than me that figure out the traffic flow pieces of this. There's all sorts of softwares that they use to be able to project that future traffic pattern. But yeah, the geographic study area goes all the way from 31 to the other side of the interstate, from interchange to interchange, from existing interchange to interchange.
Will there be a priority between residential traffic and industrial traffic when it comes to the NDOT or the federal analysis?
Well, what I'll tell you is that, the federal highway is mostly concerned about the traffic flow on 65, more than anything else. So that'll be a big part of the analysis. From an overall residential versus commercial industrial traffic flow, the model looks at all of it, as well as the existing model that was put in place for the last thoroughfare plan here in town. Because it's important to understand, obviously truck volume is one thing, car volume is another thing, but it needs to understand all of these traffic movements and pieces. So, it'll get down into the level of looking at AM peak hour traffic from all users, turning movements at intersections within the study area for all users. But it will differentiate truck traffic and car traffic because those impact queuing on roads differently than the other one. So, but they'll be looking at the broad volume as part of this, but it will break down between truck traffic and a residential vehicular traffic. Let me put cars, difference between cars and trucks.
Yeah,
In that, because they do impact the traffic flow differently.
thank you.
Ken, do you have?
I don't have any, it's earlier in the process.
Very early.
I'll have more later.
I'll make a motion to approve and execute the professional services agreement with HWC Engineering Incorporated for the I-65 Interstate Access Document Development Project.
Second.
Is that subject to the RDC approval of funding?
That would be subject to the RDC funding.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and just for the record, the contract was $560,000, $562,782,001 divided by two, $280,391. So that's what the two shares would be. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Kevin, for your partnership. Okay. Okay, we'll go on to the next item. Request acceptance of bids for the Graham Road Reconstruction Project. Request award of construction contract to HIC Construction Incorporated as the lowest, most responsive, and responsible bidder, and request execution of the construction agreement. City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thank you. This is the Graham Road Reconstruction Project between Paulahan Boulevard and Earlywood Drive. We received 5 bids for the project. As you can see up there, I'll go ahead and read them off. E&B Paving LLC, $3,504,631. Dave O'Mara Contractor, $2,857,000. HIS Constructors, Inc., $2,690,790. Milestone Contractors, $3,267,999. Reith Riley Construction Company, Inc., $3,464,935. We did some due diligence. I also worked with Lynn on this one. We had a Form 96 that was missing, but they still provided all the necessary information. So we worked with HIS to get that form submitted. We also did some contacting for other municipalities of work they've done. I think one was Shelby County. All of them spoke highly of HIS constructors. Didn't see anything wrong with them. I know their bid is quite low compared to the engineer's estimate. That has a lot to do with the fact that HIS does not use union labor on their projects, so they don't follow the Davis-Bacon Act or like some of the bigger contractors. So that was some of the savings. And also, it's really competitive out there. A lot of fighting for contracts. I think with the state limiting some of the contracts they have and cut down on the money, they're all looking for work. So very competitive.
So Matt, with you saying that, quite honestly, if you look at the second contractor was Dave O'Mara, and it's $166,000 cheaper, so it's not that far off than the second bidder. Now, it's off from the estimate. I
Yeah.
get that, but I think a lot of these estimates were made, and you're the engineer, and I
Very
trust-
conservative.
Well, but they
And-
were conservative back whenever there was a lot of work for these contractors, and now that there's not as much work for the contractors, maybe at some point we address adjusting those numbers for the
Yeah, and
estimating it.
as engineers, it's something we do monthly when NDOT comes out with their bid prices and what we see on local jobs as well. We continue to look at those prices over year, month over month, trying to figure out where we're at with the way business is going. So it's nice to see that they're going back down because I know COVID drove everything up really high. So it's nice to see that it's actually coming down a bit now, so.
Matt, do I recall in our conversation, you had also in your former life worked with his construction or your company?
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
with them?
So I early on in my career.
Not as an employee, but worked with them when they were
Yeah, I was a
contractors.
construction inspector on a bridge they completed over Eagle Creek there, old I-65, I guess, Michigan Road. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. They did, it was a 3-span bridge. I mean, we have a 1-span bridge on this job. So they did really good work on that bridge. Still looks good after probably 14 years that it's been, since it's been constructed. So from what I know, they've done really good work over the years.
I appreciate you always, like, doing the legwork to make sure that the lowest bidder is still qualified and has good references and everything. I know that takes a lot of time, but it's important.
I got to give some credit to Crossroad that actually did the bid package and all that stuff for us as well. They helped out on looking up the contractors and everything. I helped, so I can't take all the credit.
And also, Crossroad will be the inspection firm on this project who did the engineering.
Correct.
So there is an inspector there to
Yeah.
make sure it's done the right way.
Yeah, this is pretty big project, so it's good to have some extra eyes on it for this one. So to have Crossroad on it, they've done great work for us in the past, so. I will note, just for the record too, that, this is going to be a phased project. Phase 1 is going to start in July probably because of the bridge construction, just fish spawning in the creek there. So that should last to the end of this year. So that limits our Paul Hand to just south of the bridge. And then Phase 2 starts next spring, and it goes from April to, I want to say August. Yeah,
And
August.
just to clarify, the price is for the whole project.
Yes, the price is for the whole project, so.
All
That's
right.
really going to improve the north-south corridor. We need that dramatically improved.
Yeah,
I think the citizens of Franklin, Whiteland, and wherever, it's desperately needed.
I think it goes with the I-65 interchange, that area, and the amount of industrial traffic that we're starting to see in that area.
It does.
Definitely needing
Hand-
upgrades.
Hand in hand. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept the bids for the Graham Road reconstruction project and award the construction contract to HIS Construction Incorporated as the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder for an amount of $2,690,790, and also approve execution of the construction agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Was there any information we should have known that we had changed our vote?
HIS Constructors.
It's HIS Constructors. I didn't know if you needed to correct the record or not. You made the motion to award it to HIS
Oh.
Construction.
Okay.
Instructors.
Constructors.
And the-
HIS Constructors and
The bids and the documents have the right name on them, so, yeah.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, so did we vote on that?
We approved it, yes.
Okay, I thought we did.
You're good.
Thank you. We'll go on to the next one, which is also going to be Matt. Request the following subdivision performance bond to be released for Kingsbridge Park Development and Sections 3, 4, and 5. City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm requesting the following subdivision performance bonds be released. Kingsbridge Park Development, 5361496 for park improvements pursuant to Kingsbridge Park Development Agreement, $391,320. Kingsbridge Section 3, 5882435 for survey monuments, $3,480. Kingsbridge Section 4, 5882463 for survey monuments, $8,100. Kingsbridge Section 5, 5876647 for sidewalks, $2,100. I'll stop there if you wanted to do the performance bond
Yes.
acceptance.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Request the following subdivision maintenance bonds be accepted for Kingsbridge. Kingsbridge Park Development, 5889341 for park improvements pursuant to Kingsbridge Park Development Agreement, $81,525. Kingsbridge Section 3, 5889345 for survey monuments, $725. Kingsbridge Section 4, survey monuments, 5889346, $1,687.50. And Kingsbridge Section 5, 5889347 for sidewalks, $437.50.
I'll make a motion to accept the subdivision maintenance bonds as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item would be approval and acceptance of public right-of-way for Graham Street, 1480 Graham Street. Planning Director Joanna Tennell.
Good evening. With the development of Aero Earth Services' new facility on Graham Street, they had went through the site development plan that does require the additional dedication of right-of-way if it wasn't already in existence. So this is for a right-of-way dedication of 50 feet from center line, and it's ready for the board's consideration and action.
Motion to approve and accept public right-of-way for Graham Street as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Next item, retire service weapon for Christopher Gentry, Chief Cochran.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, we had a second officer retire, and I was here a few weeks ago to retire that weapon and present it to the officer, asking to do the same for Chris Gentry, who served with us for over 20 years and just recently retired. So we'd like to transfer his service weapon out to him per statute.
Okay, and I think we usually put a price number?
Yeah, it's at
Price tag.
250.
250.
250.
And I believe the clerk treasurer's office has been provided a copy of the serial number of that weapon.
Correct.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the retiree service weapon as presented.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that gets us to other business, which is the unkept properties, and I will make a motion to have Jan file as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that gets us to department reports, and Chip, we'll start with you.
One tonight, thank you. I have three things. One is this Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m., we're having an Earth Day event and you can come down to Province Park from 5 to 7 and mulch flower beds and playgrounds and have all kinds of fun down there with your family. So that's this Wednesday, 5 to 7. Saturday, on behalf of the mayor, Les and I would like to invite you to the tree planting because we're the only three that usually show up. Although Sally was there last year. So, yeah, that's right. So it's the Arbor Day event at Youngs Creek Park. We're going to do the Liberty tree planting at 10 a.m. at Youngs Creek Park. Make sure you're there. And then Tara and I did not plan this, so I'm putting her on the spot. But the Mayor's Youth Leadership Pets on the Trail is Sunday, April the 26th at what time? 1 to 3. If you haven't signed up for that, it's a fundraiser from the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, and they are going to be responsible for putting in dog water stations at all of our water fountains and throughout the trail. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Chip. Chief?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to recap last week's partnership with the Sheriff's Office and the drug arrests that were made. We'll continue to work that and partner together. We have a couple big things coming up. And then secondarily, we have an officer graduating from Police Academy this coming Friday. We'll follow that up with 2 laterals that we just sent for public safety medical testing. Both those passed. Last but not least, we had 24 applicants test for our hiring list. We had 20 of those pass, so we've started their background checks. And once we get these 3 that I just mentioned hired, we'll be down 1, and we'll pull 1 off of this list here, and we'll be in good shape. So that's it.
Thank you. Chief Snyder, I know you've had a rough month, so just want to start out by saying, I know everyone up here on this panel appreciates what our fire department has done, not just at Compass Park, but all the other stuff.
I was just going to say, Preston and I are trying to catch our breath. Last week, 2 weeks ago now, started on Wednesday, house fire while we were out on mutual aid on another fire. And then, of course, Compass Park, and we had everybody but 2 departments in the county there mutual aiding with us for that. And then last week was a whirlwind of just, I had a lot of, we were at Compass Park every day but Friday, just meeting with them and going over stuff that happened and doing press releases and stuff like that. So knock on some wood, we're going to slow down and be able to get caught up from the last couple of weeks. So, but that's really, we had some, we went through the list today, some wrenches on the trucks, some tools that were damaged. So Preston got out to the vendor today to try to get some equipment ordered and replaced, but very fortunate. Nobody was hurt, no firefighters, no residents. 3 staff members from Compass Park did go in for evaluation just from smoke inhalation, but they were back to work by that following Monday. So, but yeah, a little busy. But I think everybody pulled together. I want to thank everybody up here. Any department head that I reached out to your organization, they were able to come forward and help us on anything we needed. Kirby was there with me within the hour to help with lookers, and his guys were helping deter traffic away. And Chip, I reached out to you guys. We needed some tents and tables and chairs, but anybody we reached out to, they jumped right up. Preston and I started going around today. We've been to some of the community members that donated food, drinks, and stuff for us. We had Melissa, my administrative assistant, make up some certificates and just showing them our appreciation of how they stepped up and helped us out that day. So, but yes, busy couple weeks. So,
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
I have nothing additional.
Oh, come on, Sherry, you gotta have something. Yeah. Okay, Krista.
Just a couple things. So the redevelopment commission has a request for proposals out for a parking study. That is on our agenda for tomorrow morning's meeting, and we've received 2 proposals. We're hoping to have 1 more. So that contract will come back to the Board of Works for your approval, but I do have 2, but I will get those to you in advance of the next meeting, so you have time to look at those, hopefully with a 3rd as well. So I'll just keep you updated on that, but the redevelopment commission will hopefully approve the funding for that tomorrow morning. And then 599 East Adams Street through the Franklin Development Corporation is nearing completion. We were hoping to have it listed by now, but we're probably still another 2 or 3 weeks out just to get everything wrapped up there. So I will be letting you know when that open house for the public is for that property. And then we're set to close on our next one, probably beginning to mid-May, 599 Young Street. There was a bit of a delay in purchasing that one just because it was a tax sale property, and there was some additional 30 days notice that was required, so we couldn't close as soon as we had hoped. Tomorrow afternoon, Discover Downtown Franklin Design Committee is doing a 2-block walk. Anyone's welcome to attend that, but we've done that in the past and then brought those recommendations to the Board of Works. So we send groups of volunteers out kind of in different areas of the downtown, and we look for things like broken things or signs that are missing, or things that maybe just don't get caught. And as we've done a lot of these streetscape projects, we've have a lot less of that, but there are still sometimes things that we catch. And I know it's probably been over a year or so since I've brought anything like that to you for repairs, so sorry, I'm just giving you a heads up, Jason. It usually falls on you. But, so we will be doing that tomorrow afternoon. And then Rosie's not here, but the next chamber luncheon will be May 14th, and we're going to do a panel presentation for that luncheon, and it's going to be the president of the Economic Development Commission, the Redevelopment Commission, and the Franklin Development Corporation, along with Dana and I, to kind of give an overview of what those acronyms mean, EDC, FDC, RDC, and what role each of those boards plays in kind of the economic development and community development for our city. And then Dana will handle kind of a example of how tax abatements work, and I will give a general overview of how TIF areas work. So if that interests you, make sure you go to the chamber and register. That's May 14th. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Jason?
Street department's business as usual. Nothing special other than the tree planting for Saturday. We're actually going to meet, Nate and I will meet tomorrow to figure out where we're going to plant the other trees. We're going to plant 4 total Liberty trees. One will be at Youngs Creek Park. The other 3 will be throughout the city. That's it.
Thank you for what you guys do. Do a good job.
You're welcome.
Joanna?
So we had the open house for the comprehensive plan, April 9th, and did want to thank the community for the number of people that had come out and participated. This room was actually, every seat was full, which is the most participation I have ever seen in a comp plan process. So I think that goes to show everybody is more involved now, and I'm excited for that.
Thank you. Sally?
We had a monthly progress meeting for the wastewater plant upgrades. That was last week. It's going as planned, and no change orders so far.
Man, that's good.
I know.
Kara?
Tell them about that Vintage Fest. Nobody said that.
Well, you just did.
It's
It's this weekend.
this weekend.
Jan?
Nothing.
Tina?
I just want to echo the gratitude to Chief Snyder and his brave firefighters. I have a parent that lives at Compass Park, so much appreciation for what you guys did that morning.
Yeah, my dad's out there, and then my neighbors down the street, the Watts family home burnt, and so appreciate your guys' efforts, and yeah, and seems to me it wasn't just the fire department. Obviously, you guys are putting the fire out, but communicating with everyone in the city, so fantastic job. Thank you.
Okay, Lynn?
Well, I will just echo, in addition to the police and fire, it's nice to get a 5:30 a.m. phone call with everything's under control. That's kind of nice to hear. But I would also like to show my approval to everybody else in the administrative parts of the things. I know sometimes we get a little grief for all our required obligations in planning and zoning and improvements and things of that nature, but I'm here to tell you that our requirements saved lives that day. And enforcing those requirements saved life. And to follow up on what Chip said, if you want to mulch at my house, come anytime you want. You don't have to come just on Wednesday. You can do that anytime. Nothing further.
All right, I don't have anything to add. We got a great crew, and I appreciate every one of you, so I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All